Hi.
And welcome to another Shadowlands video. We've completed the 4 main campaign areas. We're at the end game. We've been level 60 for ages. We've made a chunk of cash. And now we're going to see what the end of the beginning has for us. Yeah, each of these have now got representatives, except, of course, the Venthyr, because we've only just got back from there.
What might your purpose be?
We have sensed something horrific has happened. Quickly, tell me everything. It is good you've returned safely from Revendreth. We sense a betrayal that has shifted the infinite threads of fate. The mer searches with pair. We must know the cause.
I will consider your words.
Denathrius caused the anima drought and has fed his vast stores into the maw. He is in league with the jailer.
Purpose save us all. It is worse than we could have imagined.
Surprise!
Seems the jailer has been pulling the strings of fate on our world as well.
Also surprise.
Honored voice, the Eternal Ones have summoned you to the Arbiter's chamber.
Then I must answer their call. Come with me, Mawwalker.
Okay.
Perhaps they can guide our path. Cardelen, bring the Covenant representatives to the Enclave. After the mortal and I have finished, we will convene with you there. With her voice, have I spoken.
Blessed be her voice.
As
Nope.
the Arbiter's voice, I heed the call of the Eternal Ones. How may I serve?
The maw grows, surging with power. How did this come to pass?
The evil we believed forever bound has conspired to distract.
They look cool, translucent like that.
The Primus realized the truth, but his warning came too late. I fear he paid a grave price for this knowledge.
You speak for Revendreth. Where is your sire? Where is our brother, Denathrius?
My sire has betrayed us all. The drought was his doing. He stole the very lifeblood of
Interesting
our
that there's another...
starving
I suppose
his
that's
own
where the
people.
jailer was.
And yours as well. When his lies were exposed, Denathrius unleashed his vast coffers of anima into the maw to fuel the might of his true master.
Long ago, we stood as one to imprison that monster. With the Primus gone, and Denathrius a traitor, our pantheon has been broken, and doom comes for the Shadowlands.
There is yet hope. This mortal saved
Yeah,
me from
it's
the
me!
maw and revealed the sire's treachery.
They aided my forest as well. Their kind has shown great potential. If focused, it could turn the tide in our favor.
Agreed. For the good of
So
the
I think
Shadowlands,
these
each
are
mortal
titans,
must
like
choose
titans.
a covenant.
And when our realms have
And the Eternal
regained their
Ones...
strength,
Oh, I don't know, actually.
we will stand together against the darkness.
I
Does-
will see it done, Eternal.
No, they are the Eternal Ones, okay.
With her voice,
But they're not titans.
have I
Oh,
spoken.
I don't know. Typical WoW lore not being clear.
The hour of decision is at hand.
But I don't want to decide yet, because I haven't got a clue.
I speak.
You've done well. See that you continue to do so.
Until we speak again.
Choosing your purpose. Each covenant is vital to the Shadowlands, so they are often seen at odds with one another. This too is part of the purpose. All the covenants need to grow strong to face the threat of the jailer, but your efforts cannot be divided. They must be focused upon a single path. Other mortals may make a different choice. The time has come for you to take a side. Speak to your allies, then make a choice. The map of the Shadowlands before me. Speak to the covenants. Decide how your path is entwined with the purpose.
Her voice.
Speak with the Kyrian. It's not going to be the Kyrian because, quite frankly, I don't like the brainwashing cult part of it.
You wish to be of service?
Tell me again of the virtues of the Kyrian.
Proceed with courage.
Okay, so it shows us what our armor looks like on us, which is cool. Pretty okay design. But again, I don't actually like the Covenant very much. I do quite like their mountain aesthetic, though. Home Bastion. Steadfast guardians of the afterlife who bear the souls of the dead into the Shadowlands, eternally devoted to duty and service. Only the worthy mount their ranks. I've been thinking about this ever since I started talking about, it as a cult and brainwashing and stuff. The whole point is that they go and ferry the dead. So if they have memories of their former lives, then naturally they would do what happened with Uther and potentially cause problems. So I get it, but I can also see the Forsworn's point of view. Kindred Spirits is basically useless for solo play, which is what I mostly do. Steward is a 5-minute 20% cooldown. Offers access to a selection of useful amenities for 4 minutes. Pelagos. Oh, you get an extra. Interesting. I didn't know this. So you get an extra ability for whichever soulbind you choose, and you can swap between them. Kindred Spirits increases your mastery. Kindred Spirits. That's Kindred Spirits. Increases your mastery for 350 for 10 seconds, and occasionally expels soulful memories. Walking through soulful memories extends this effect by 3 seconds. That's quite cool. Valiant Strikes. Your critical strikes grant you stacks of Valiant Strikes up to 20. If a nearby party member drops below 50% health, you consume these stacks to heal them for 1% of the maximum health per stack. Forge Light Prime Mechanicos. After using 90 damaging or healing spells and abilities, your next spell or ability summons Bron. After using 90. Attacks and... Sanctum feature, Path of Ascension, an ancient rite of combat in which you act as a tactical guide for champions of Bastion, testing their mettle against a series of powerful foes. Escape to get rid of that. What adventures? Oh, noble Kyrian faced the dire consequences. Ah, no, there, the Forsworn.
Remain humble. Stay true to our eternal charge.
Connect with your inner spirit, increasing damage done by 50% for 10 seconds. I don't think I ever noticed, that changed.
Hello.
Hello. I need a favour. I have a special request.
The steward's job is never done.
Okay. Need a favour. Oh, he can be a shop as well. That's quite useful.
Back to work.
Okay, that's quite cool.
You have questions. We all serve a greater good.
Okay, speak with the Night Fae. Lady Moonbury.
Nice to see you.
Remind me of the Night Fae. See, I like this armor set. It's grown on me more and more. It looks really dumb on a human male. You know, the generic human male that you see stuff on WoWhead, it looks awful on, in my opinion. But on me in human form, me in night elf form, I actually think this looks quite cool. What's the mount? And the mount is a fancy-ass stag as well. The night fae tend to fall on nature spirits who slumber within the tranquil forest. Those with a deep bond to nature may join their cause, ensuring that the rejuvenated spirits can one day rejoin the eternal cycle. See, that sounds really cool, but the storyline was so badly done. Convoke the spirits, though, is good. I like it. Soul shape is basically useless for me, however. Naya. Healing or dealing damage has a chance to grant you a stack of redirected anima. Increases your maximum health and mastery by 25 for 30 seconds as stacks overlap. Convert the spirits grants you 16 stacks. It sounds like that's just something that you get and get bonuses of. When you take damage that would kill you, instead rejuvenate within a wild seed. You're getting 30% of health over 10 seconds. That's quite cool. Your damage to targets above 75 health and when healing to targets below 35% health is increased by 10%. When your spells and abilities are enhanced this way, you gain 50% increased movement speed for 5 seconds. That sounds very PvP-ish. A sacred garden where you can nurture the world seeds of powerful lost souls and prepare them for rebirth. That sounds quite cool as well. I do like that outfit. I mean, I know I spend most of my time in bear or cat, but maybe I need to go and look up what the storylines are. I don't need to retest the abilities. As you've seen with your own eyes, the groves of Ardenweald are dying. As each great celestial tree falls, our queen's desperation grows. The queen and her court of knights know your strength.
Never a dull moment with you.
Never indeed. Draven. I like the fact there's a panda in combat dummy.
What is our next target?
How would the Venthyr benefit? See, I don't like this armor. It's not bad. I like the metallic shinings of it, but just overall, it's very roguish. That, on the other hand, is quite the mount. The Venthyr are aristocratic overseers of souls burdened with excessive pride and wickedness. They guide troubled souls upon the rigorous path to atonement, harvesting anima to keep their realm strong. That and that we know about. Nagia? While in combat, you gain a stack of Thrill Seeker every 2 seconds, or 4 stacks on killing an enemy. At 40 stacks, Thrill Seeker is consumed to grant you Euphoria, increasing your haste by 20% for 10 seconds. Thrill Seeker decays rapidly when you are not in combat. So that's very much something that benefits, say, Mythic Plus, I would argue, where you have to kill a lot of stuff. Your spells and abilities have a chance to call Tubbins and Gubbins to your side for 12 seconds, Parasol in hand. Standing in the shade area grants you 525 mastery. Nice. Draven. Damage taken below 40% health is reduced by 10%. Upon death, you leave a stone husk behind, which shatters after 3 seconds, inflicting 100% of your maximum health in damage split among nearby enemies and healing for 100% of your maximum health. That sounds quite cool for tanking. Help rebuild Prince Renathal's influence through the most venerated of Venthyr tradition, throwing amazing parties. I've heard about this. Make proper preparations and recruit the right staff to impress each week's VIP guests.
We do what must be done.
The road to redemption for Revendreth is a long one, but the Dark Prince of Sinfall is ready to walk it. You've already helped us take the first steps on this journey. Now we must endeavour to wrest control of Revendreth in the clutches of the Master and his loyalists.
I was built to defend this realm from all who would do it harm, even the Master.
Medics!
Maldraxxus honors you.
Strength of the Necrolords. And this armor looks dumb. I'm sorry, it's too brown. See, this is my problem with the Necrolords. Everything else is really cool, but this is... Oh, I was right about them. But I don't like this armor at all. It's... I would never wear this. I would never transmog into it. And it would... oh, mind you. I like the bubbles. Among the Necrolords, strength is rewarded and weakness cast aside. The souls of the ambitious and contentious are forged into an immortal army charged with the defense of the Shadowlands. What's the mount? The mount is one of the weird bull things. I'm not a huge fan of that either, if I'm honest. Among the Necrolords, strength is rewarded and weakness cast aside. The souls of the ambitious and contentious are forged into an immortal army charged with the defense of the Shadowlands. Adaptive Swarm and Fleshcraft, both very cool abilities. You know, that's good for defensive. That's good for offensive, but it's kind of single targety, I think. Plague Deviser Marilith is one of the two most fun, I would argue, characters in this entire campaign so far. Theater being the other, although Nadia actually having her... I think overall I've actually liked the characters in the Revendreth campaign the most. So what does Marilith offer? Using the Fleshcraft while nearby corpses... with nearby corpses, consumes their essence completely, granting a benefit based on the creature's type. Adaptive Swarm increases your agility by 5% and up to 4 nearby allies' primary stat by 2%. That's good if you're doing dungeons or raids. Not so great if you're solo like me. Your agility and armor are increased by 1% for each enchantment on your armor up to 3%. Upon death, your soul allows you to fight for an additional 10 seconds. During this time, your damage and healing done is reduced by 50%, and you cannot receive healing. The Nexus, this Nexus of the Maldraxian art of fleshcrafting, allows you to construct new companions to join you on your adventures across the Shadowlands.
Do not forsake your allies.
The ambitions of the Necrolords face a threat of extinction at our own hand. Should you once again join your strength to ours, we will fight together to forge the disparate fragments into an army capable of challenging fate itself.
Our might is without equal.
So, let's take stock. Kyrians, no. I've got no interest whatsoever in joining the Kyrians. Their NPCs do not entertain me. Their story did not particularly entertain me. Their Covenant abilities are okay. Nothing really that they offer stands out to me as a druid. Night Fae. Their cosmetics are, I think, the best. Their Covenant abilities, one of them is cool. The other one is basically useless for me as a druid. The garden tending thing sounds okay. The characters...
What can I do for you?
The characters just aren't very interesting, but they do offer interesting buffs. So there's that. So, no. Transmog and abilities, yes. Not necessarily caring about the story. Don't like the transmog. Everything else sounds really interesting. Don't like the mount either. Oh, no. The mount was alright for this, wasn't it? Yeah, don't like the transmog. Do quite like the mounts. All the characters are interesting. The abilities are interesting. The Sanctum feature throwing parties. Yeah, not so inspired of. And these guys can't stand the transmog. Think the transmog's rubbish. Not a huge fan of the mount either, if I'm really honest. And I'm not going to use it anyway. The abilities are good. The characters are good. And the Abomination Factory sounds quite entertaining as well. So basically, I don't know. I don't know. At all. I mean, I know it's not an irreversible choice. I know you can change your mind. But I don't know. So, what I need to do, realistically, is to find out whether the stories are any good. But the trouble with doing that is that I then have to spoil the stories for myself. I mean, I know I'm going to do this on other characters, and after I've done this bit, I think I can do the Threads of Fate thing, which means that I can choose a covenant straight away on my other characters. But arguably, I don't know what I'd choose on the other characters either. I mean, Necrolords for my Death Knights seems obvious. You know, you've got the right theme going on. I don't have a rogue at level 60. I don't have a rogue at level 50, let alone level 60. Though obviously I could change that. But that might be cool for a demon hunter. Paladin obviously would be the best choice, I think, for the Kyrians in terms of the aesthetic. The plate armor for the Night Fae is not really very me. So that looks good for them. I don't know. I'm going to have to go and do a little bit of research, I think, before I make this choice. So, I've just been and done some research into the storylines. WoW had sight on the Covenant campaign stories is quite good in the sense that whilst I don't think it's particularly spoiler-free, one of the things that it does do is whenever you see a character or something that is named, it obviously links it to the Wowhead page for it. So I've been able to quickly scan through and see and take a look at what a few things are involved. So Bastion seems to be a lot to do with Uther, which is interesting. And a lot of stuff to do with Clear and the Forge Rights and this, that, and the other. But Uther was the name that stood out to me for Bastion. For Maldraxxus, I'm guessing you spend a lot of time with Alexandros. I saw Kel'Thuzad mentioned a couple of times, and Kael'thas as well. So that could be very interesting indeed. And obviously there's a lot of stuff there to do with Draka and Merilith and so on and so forth. Ardenweald sounds like it's actually got potentially the most interesting campaign for me, Tyrande. It looks like all the stuff to do with chasing down Tyrande Whisperwind is in there, and Chandris has something to do with it as well. Bronsamdi was also mentioned. The Drust were mentioned quite a lot, and Vol'jin was even mentioned, as well as several other lower. So it does kind of sound like it, even though the initial storyline for Ardenweald was a little bit meh. Hello, Darian. Nice to see you. It sounds like the actual kind of post-level cap campaign is actually going to be very interesting indeed. Venthyr has got a lot of the NPCs that we've met, the Counts, the Baroness, the Harvesters, rather, and Kael'thas is mentioned as well in that. It looks like all 4 of the Covenants are going to end up in their storylines going to other places. It definitely helps me narrow it down to Maldraxxus and Ardenweald, though, as the 2 places that I will and are about. And this is where I don't know. This is where my issue, I think, lies. Ardenweald as a place is... Can we bring up the maps of Ardenweald? We can. Yeah, it's a massive zone. It's a beautiful zone. We're not going to spend all of the campaign time in it, but it's, for all its emphasis on life, it feels kind of lifeless. Whereas Maldraxxus, for all of its emphasis on, you know, death and power, it feels like a more visually interesting zone. I would argue that Revendreth actually is probably the best zone. That is what I think. It's got the best characters, the best new characters. I would argue that Revendreth is the best zone. Bastion, I think, comes off the worst in basically all of these for me and my preferences. I will play it through on a character. I will play their storyline through because I'm going to have a character in each covenant. But yeah, I think Bastion as a zone design comes off the worst. I think in terms of its characters, they are the least interesting. Maldraxxus comes out strong. Ardenweald, I would really have loved for the Fae characters to have a little bit more personality. But with the Serra there and Tyrande there and Bon Samdi making an appearance, which is almost certainly why the other side is part of that, that really is helping. I think this is the first time I've actually looked at the map of the Moor. So yeah, I'm still undecided, but I think I've narrowed it down to either Ardenweald or Maldraxxus. It's weird that Maldraxxus looks bigger than Ardenweald, and yet Maldraxxus didn't feel anywhere near as big a zone.
Well.
But the issue really comes down to, you know, a combination of all of these things for my playstyle. You know, I'm very much a transmog hunter to an extent. I like my characters looking good. And therefore, the Night Fae kind of wins out there. The Covenant abilities, one of the two is great for me. The actual Soulbind abilities sound really, really good. And the story sounds really good. And as a Night Elf Druid, that certainly seems to be, in many ways, the most fitting. And I'm going to be doing this on my Death Knight character anyway.
We follow the will of the Prime.
So, no, not on this one. I think my Demon Hunter is going to go Venthyr. My Death Knight is going to go Necrolord. And my Priest is going to go Kyrian. I'm actually going to write that down. Because I'm never entirely sure how I'm going to... what I'm going to play anyway. So, Priest for Kyrian. And apparently the new Shadow is pretty decent. I haven't tried it. My Death Knight is definitely going to go Necrolord. Just for the plate armor, if nothing else. Night Fae. I'm thinking Druid. And Demon Hunter. Venthyr. I think of the characters that I like, of the characters that I play regularly, and I've still got the Horde side of things to go as well. You know, I very much enjoyed the Shaman actually. So Skull is going to go Kyrian, I think. Oh, I've still got the Monk as well. Yeah, obviously I've got lots and lots of characters that I can level up. Where's Mortimer? This is my Horde Death Knight. He's cool. He leveled as Frost. forgot. I'd actually forgotten that I got Skith at leveled as well. Yeah, I've got super loads of options, to be fair. And over the course of the expansion, clearly I'll have plenty of options as to, you know, who looks good in what, which storyline has progressed most interestingly, and of course you can swap as and when you want to. It's done. I have always been an individual who has buyer's remorse, and I always instantly regret things and choices and decisions that I have made. But from a story-focused guy, I feel like the Night Fae has potential, even if the actual lead-up campaign didn't thrill me. I think it fits best in terms of power.
What news do you bring?
Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.